let's start our interview. Okay, so
All right.
who were your singing? I don't want to say idols, but who were your inspirations growing up that made you want to be a singer, or where did it start? How did you know that that was a gifting that you could perfect and be good at?
Well, as you said earlier, I mean, I've been doing this for over 30 years, and I started off singing as a young teenager, and I grew up in the days of singing your Shy Lights type songs, the dramatics. My favorite independent or single artist, and when I say single, I just mean just individual, not group artists, is one of my all time favorites, and probably will be forever. Would be Luther Vandross.
Oh
You
yeah.
know, yeah, Luther Vandross. I mean, I love Teddy Pendergrass and love LTD with Jeffrey Osborne. I
Oh
love doing
yeah.
that styles of music. But I mean, my genre is kind of broad as well because I mean, I love the big band music and swing music like your Frank Sinatra's, your Nat King Cole's and Tony Bennett's and artists of their time as well. So,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it just brings forth such a variety, that could not limit me and put me in one box of style. So.
Right. So, what are the different genres that you do sing? Like, what when you perform at different performances? What are the different types of music that you do? I know you
Well,
do.
what I'm doing,
Go ahead.
yeah, when I'm doing covers, I mean, it's like everything. It's pretty much a vast array of everything. That's kind of what I'm known for when I go out and I perform at venues. People like what I bring to the platform in terms of my entertainment because I'm not limited to one style. Sometimes you have artists that go out and they're limited themselves to jazz or pop or R&B, or soul or something like that. And that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that, but I give them a variety of R&B. I give them a variety of jazz, and pop and swing and big band, and I can do a little bit all. This way it's kind of like the artist that's for all occasions, so to speak, when it comes to the styles of music. So for, like I said, whether it's Nat King Cole, whether it's Larry Graham, One in a Million, whether it's Frank Sinatra, Sammy Davis Jr., even throw a little country in there every now
Mm-hmm.
and then, a
Mm-hmm.
little, Brent Young, I mean, it all depends, like on what people want to listen to. But I mean, it helps me to stretch myself, and like I
Right.
said again, it eliminates being just kind of limited to one style. So,
Okay. So, Kevin Lamont is with what music group? What's the name of that music group? Kalu.
it's just Kevin Lamont. Yeah, yeah.
So the
I'm
so the
individual artist.
so the group, the company, is it Kalu? Am I doing it backwards? Kalu Music Group.
The company, yeah, the label that I'm on is Kalu Media
The
Group. Yeah,
label.
man.
Okay.
Yeah,
So
Kalu Media Group. AKA KMG. Yeah.
so how did you get the name, or how did that? Do you know how that label got that name for Kalu, the Kalu name?
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. I'm glad you asked. My son, my oldest son, his name is Kevin Jr., and he came up with the idea. He's been doing music for a while. His background is in music. He got a degree in music. And when he came to me not last year, but year before last, and approached me, he was doing different styles of rap and hip hop music and things like that. And he decided to want to kind of shift gears, and he saw what I was doing with regards to the styles of music that I was doing. And it's been my desire to want to kind of work with him, but I know he was on his path and I was on mine. And he decided one day it was on his heart that he wanted to kind of do something with his dad, and he approached me about just doing a new label and kind of wanting me to be his flagship artist. And of course, he wanted to have me just do the style of music that I want to do. And we kind of initially came out the gate with the R&B. And so he told me I got a name, Dad, that I'm interested in just naming the business, and I want to name it Kalu Media Group. And I said, well, that's a pretty cool name. And not really realizing that his desire behind the Kalu name was for his youngest brother who passed away in 2012 of August.
Mm-hmm.
And, sometimes, you have things that your kids know about and they may not share everything with you. And he was telling me, Dad, Caleb's closest friends knew him as Kalu. They called him as Kalu. That was his nickname.
Oh wow.
And I'm like, yeah, and I'm like, I didn't really know that. He was like, yeah, he said that's where the name Kalu comes in, and I wanted to name it that in honor of my youngest brother. So, and that's pretty much where the name transpired from. Just him just wanted to do it and name the company in honor of his brother. So it was really a blessing to have him do that. So.
Right. So you're basically in the Chicagoland and surrounding areas, but I know good and well you go. I know you've been to St. Louis, and I know that you go to different areas. But is Chicago like your main hub where you? I know you're well known in that area, but do you
Absolutely, yeah,
travel?
Chicago. Yeah, I do travel. I do
Okay.
travel. I mean, people invite me to come to St. Louis. I've been to Ohio. I've been to Florida. Wisconsin. Michigan. Pretty much what people will invite me to come. I will come as long as it fits with my schedule. I would be more than happy to come and just be a blessing wherever I can be a blessing. So
And I have to put a plug in there. You know, my mom just celebrated her 70th birthday, and
yeah.
I had the opportunity to get you to come in there and perform, and we had so many awesome compliments on you and that band. It was just, the music was just amazing. It was awesome. It was awesome. We really
Uh,
enjoyed you. We
Thank you
really
so much.
did.
And we had a great time. Just really being a blessing to
I don't
mom as well.
I don't think I've ever seen my mom blush or turn red, but I think, yeah, it was awesome. It was awesome. All
I'm
right.
so glad she enjoyed it. Thank you for having us too. Appreciate it.
So, do you have any new projects going on or coming out soon, or right now, or
Actually, I'm working on some music now. In the studio, as a matter of fact, working on some music with my producers. And there's some songs I've got, 3 songs that I've actually are in the process of working on. I'm still kind of finishing them up, fine tuning them, if you will.
yeah?
I just recently finished 2 recent projects. My last project came out in I believe February of this year, as a matter of fact, and it's entitled "The Only One." But yeah, my project before that came out in October of last year, and then I had another one that came out back in July, and then of course my first one, which is "I Will Love You,"
Mm-hmm.
came out. It was launched in April the 5th of 2019. So yeah, we're just trying to keep it going and just trying to keep quality music alive. I like to call it grown folks music. Old school music, the kind of music we don't hear much on radios or in concerts that much, except for the few handful of artists that are still kind of from the old school, like your Peabo Bryces or Jeffrey Osborne's. You may have your Will Downings, but it's not a broad range of artists that do that kind of music anymore. So I figured it was a lane that I can get in. That would just kind of keep that style of music alive.
Yeah,
So.
yeah. So, I don't think our life will ever be the same anymore after this pandemic, this COVID-19. How has that affected you, and what have you been able to take anything positive from us from this pandemic?
Well, I mean, like pretty much every other artist and I mean, from my particular genre of what I do and the vocation of what I do with music is concerned, it's pretty much kind of just shut things down. I've actually, since this has happened with the pandemic, I've had maybe 7 to 10 shows that have been on the books that, unfortunately, they had to cancel because venues were closing down because of the safe distance situation with the COVID, and it kind of put them in a place where really most of them are trying to reschedule it for a later time and
Right.
hope that the pandemic would be over, hopefully within the next, at least to a place where we can kind of
Right.
come back together and congregate again, maybe within the next 2 to 3 months or something like that. So
Right.
I got some people that have moved their events back to September, October, November. And that's great, because but the disappointment was that we're really looking forward to just
True.
having me come and perform with them in this day and time, because that particular time that they had those events scheduled, whether it was a special wedding, or a little
Right.
concert to do for them, or whatever the case may be, it was a special time and a special event that was going to happen for one of their loved ones, whether it was a parent hiring me to sing at their children's wedding or something like that,
Mm-hmm.
or a mother's 60th, 70th birthday party or something like that, and like I did for your mom,
Right. Right.
that type of situation. So yeah, it affected it in that way, and I mean, from the positive perspective, it's given me an opportunity to have more time to kind of get more into writing and learning how to arrange music. And as a matter of fact, over here in my corner, I have a keyboard set up. I always wanted to learn how to see if I can self-teach myself how to play.
Oh, wow.
So I'm hoping to I've had it for about a year, and we've spoken to one another quite a bit.
Do you play by ear, or can you read the music, or do you
Uh,
play by
uh,
ear?
well, everything with regards to playing is more of a mental assent right now. I mean, we're still kind of at the introductory stage.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
When I come over and turn it on and touch it, it's kind of like, I haven't felt you in a while. It's like, I'm coming, like one thing at a time.
Oh my
So,
goodness.
right now, mainly, I'm just trying to focus on getting the writing together and working with my producers and getting in the studio and helping them with some special projects as well. And yeah, this is going to give me time to kind of really, the positive in this is just give me a little time to be able to work on other projects that would have been a little bit challenging to do with life happening
Yeah.
in addition to this. So
Yeah.
yeah, it kind of slows things down for me to have a little bit more time to be able to focus on getting more into the writing, arranging aspects of what I'm doing with my music. So
Right. So I can't let you go without singing something. If it's just a snippet or something, you have to bless us with your voice. You have such a beautiful voice. If you don't mind, I know I've probably talked to you quite a bit. How do you feel? Do you feel like you could possibly give us like a couple of verses of something?
I can give you a little something.
Okay.
I mean, basically talking to you. Listen, with this pandemic, it's been a while since I've sung, so I just hope I don't embarrass myself.
I'm sure you won't.
If you would have asked me this probably at 10 or 11 this morning, this was going on, that would have probably been somewhat of a disaster. That early morning voice just don't work all that great. But
little lemon and honey.
Let me see if I got a little something here maybe from Luther Vandross. I'll do something that people might be familiar with.
Okay.
It's for only for one night, so I'll do a verse and maybe a verse and a chorus from that if it's okay. So.
Yes, please.
You ready?
Yes.
Can you hear that? Okay. Ooh, yeah. All right. Let me hold you tight, if only for one night. Let me keep you near to ease away your fears. It would be so nice if only for one night. Let me take you home to keep you safe and warm till the early dawn warms up to the sun. It would be so nice if only for one night. Yeah, now. If only for one night. Your eyes say things I never hear from you, and my knees are shaking too. But I'm willing to go through. I must be crazy standing in this space while I'm feeling no disgrace for asking. Let me take you home to keep you safe and warm to the early dawn warms up to the sun. It would be so nice if only for one night. Yeah, now, if only for one night.
You should have saw my daughter. You singing the song, she's like,
oh. Well, tell her thank you.
Beautiful.
Hopefully that was a facial response of I liked it.
Yeah, she liked it.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you, Kevin. Thank you so much. So before I let you go, I'm gonna open up the floor. You can give a bunch of shout outs to some people that you want to before we go.
You know what? I'm just, and again, in light of what you brought up earlier with this pandemic and this and COVID-19, I'm just thankful for the people who are actually. I'm thankful to who we're calling our heroes, the first responders,
right.
The nurses, the doctors, the police officers, the
Grocery
firemen,
people,
and everybody. The people the people who have to physically go out and do things in order that our society can continuously function in somewhat of a normal manner until this thing lifts up. I want to give a shout out to all of them, and I applaud them in what they're doing. And I'm thankful for my family. I'm thankful for God, most first and foremost, my heavenly Father, my
Amen.
Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, and I'm just thankful for the help that He's given us and the safeguardedness that He's uh, has hovering over us to keep us from having to deal with this thing, this attack that's trying to come against our society.
Right.
And I mean, from an artistry perspective, a few people that I know that are out there that are doing their thing like me, who I take my hat off to. The production company that I work with, Priest Productions, Nick Davis and Gary Baker, artists like Javon Watson and Ronnie G, who I believe you're going to have on your show pretty soon.
Yep, he's coming in July.
Phenomenal.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome. I
Mm-hmm.
look forward to tuning in. Local bands like Delivery Point Band, and Level 7 bands that I had the privilege of performing with and sharing the platform with, Trina Trimble, and just these are different artists that I really esteem them in the high regards, with regards to the giftings that God has given them to use and share and bless the world with, and that's pretty much it. It's just people that they just need to know they're loved and they're respected,
Right.
just from the people who do the same thing that they do. So
Right.
Thank you for that opportunity. I appreciate it.
Thank you so much for coming on the show. We were so happy to have you. The first show, I am just so excited. Thank you so much, Kevin, for hanging out with me for just a little while. I appreciate
My
it.
pleasure. Again, thank you for having me. I greatly appreciate it,
We got
Kat.
to do this again soon.
I'll look forward to it.
Okay. You take care. Stay
You as
safe.
well. Have a good evening.
You too.
All right, you too. Thank you.
Okay.
God bless. Hey, love to mom and the family. All right.
Thank you. I'm sure she's listening. All right. Take care.
Love you, Miss Shirley. Okay, you too. Bye bye.
All right. Bye-bye.
Goodbye.